everybody, and welcome to episode 27 of the Grumpy Gaming Weekend podcast on the 24th, probably, of November. Probably. Potentially. Maybe. Who knows?
Probably November.
Hopefully November. But yeah, welcome back. We have... I don't know why I said it like that. Welcome back. Podcast.
Welcome.
Today, I, Grumpy Brit. He, Elliott. I don't know why I started so badly, but there we go. We are back again. It's almost like we do this every week. It's like it's a weekly show. But how are you, Elliott? Have you been?
I'm good. I'm in a very good mood today. I've got some good news in my personal life. We had a good stream today. Everything's wonderful.
Do you want to talk about the good news in your personal life? Or are you keeping it private?
Oh, how secret is it? No, I got a new job. I got an offer of a new job. I've been working retail for a little bit now, which you're doing as well at the moment.
For a little bit. Sorry, how long have you been working retail for exactly?
A week and a half.
Brilliant. And you got out already. You escaped.
Yeah, I got a job as an administrator in a hospital. It's a really good job.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Comment,
Thank you very much.
comment down below. Congrats.
I'm so glad that I'm out of retail before Black Friday and Christmas.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad you are out of retail before Black Friday and Christmas. If anybody from my job is watching this video, I love my job. It's great. It's amazing. I'm so getting fired. Like, I don't even care at this point. Like, fire me and I'll beg for my job back in January. But yeah, congratulations on that. It's good to hear. Good to hear. Hopefully that will allow you to have money and be able to live, which is great. I mean, this is the
Paying rent's awesome.
Oh, I love paying rent. It's my favorite part of my day. Absolute favorite part of the year. Yeah. So, what have you been up to this week, man? What's been doing on your Twitch channels and stuffs?
I have been playing Star Wars Fallen Order. We spoke about it last week. I hadn't had a chance to actually get hands-on with it yet. I've been playing it. I played it Sunday when I got back from Twitch. Oh my god. Twitch London on Saturday, if we can quickly veer off.
Go ahead.
Twitch London was amazing. It was so cool. I got to bump into so many awesome people. Some of them that I know and have seen a couple of times now. So like Craven that you met with me at EGX. Yeah. Amy, who I've now met like a couple of times at Insomnia EGX, and then this weekend again. DJS2K8. Some of my guys came. We had one of my community came across from Switzerland.
Wow.
They were planning a holiday to England anyway, but they shuffled things around so they could come to Twitch London, which was insane. I had a little thing of groupies, so we went around as
groupies. You know you've made it when you've got groupies.
Exactly. I don't know if you've heard. I'm kind of a big deal. Oh my god.
Kind of a big deal.
I drank too much, and I kept saying that, but I was saying it to like big partner streamers.
Oh wait, you drinking too much? That doesn't sound like you. That's so out of character.
At one point, I was talking to Cyborg Angel, and she was like, "Who are these people you with?" I was like, "Oh, it's just like a load of my Twitch community came over," and I was just like, "I don't know if you heard. I'm kind of a big deal." She's like, "Huge."
I mean, you know what they say, like aim big, right? Like think big. If you think you're big, you'll get big. That's what stream coaches say, and that's a topic we're going to be coming on to a little bit later because we've got some tea to spill. But there we go. Twitch London was great. I will make it eventually. Like I've said, it's a hard one for me because of getting time off work and traveling. It's not something that, in the nicest way possible, as much as I'm sure it'll be a really great evening, I can't really make content out of it. So it kind of seems like a lot of time and money for me. But one day, when I'm back to full-time content creation, I'll be able to join you down in Twitch London or maybe even Twitch Con. Who knows? So, going back to the original topic before you rudely interrupted me, what have you been playing this week? What have you been up to? You've been playing Star Wars, right?
Star Wars Fallen Order.
Fallen Order?
I played it Sunday, so I had like 3 or 4 hours sleep and then got on a megabus all the way back across the country to Bristol and pretty much got home, had something to eat and started streaming, and I'm playing on the hardest difficulty.
Oh, sorry. Did you beat Sekiro or?
I have indeed defeated Sekiro. I beat the last boss after
this should be easy.
Only 160 something tries.
Good job.
But yeah, so I'm playing on Jedi Grandmaster. It's a really good game. Mm-hmm. I love the combat. The exploration is very satisfying, like the running and climbing and swinging and all this stuff. The bosses are a bit underwhelming, not difficulty wise, but so many of them are like human shape, human size bosses where the combat's not as fleshed out as Sekiro. So Sekiro, I always call it like rock paper scissors combat.
Yeah.
So the enemies have certain unblockable attacks. You counter different ones in different ways. So it's all about learning the patterns and then being able to get around those unblockables. In Fallen Order, a lot of the unblockables you can just kind of like sidestep, and then normally you get 3 hits as long as you get the sidestep in. And it has like the Sekiro parry and stuff for the basic combat. I'm starting to unlock some more like lightsaber like skills and different attack patterns and stuff, which is making the combat a bit more varied.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Sekiro, like the first couple of bosses, was just like, okay, they're gonna have the stab attacks, which you Kiri counter. They're gonna have the sweep attacks, which you jump. They're gonna have like downward ones where then you want to step, but this is a bit more. They're gonna shiny red boy, and then you just slightly step to the right, and then they go past you, and then you bop them.
Do you think, because I feel like the Jedi Fallen Order, obviously it's a Star Wars game. We've had loads of Star Wars games before, games like The Force Unleashed, for example, right? Do you think that this game, like, people overestimated how Souls-like it was going to be, and it's more of a game with Souls-like elements rather than a proper Souls-like? Do you think that's where you're coming to conclude, or do you think I'm wrong?
Yeah, no, I think you're probably right. People, I mean, me included, I did my E3 breakdown where I kind of said, like, look, the combat's going to be very, very, very Sekiro style, which it is, but also the Souls-like elements are quite different. A lot of the Souls-like elements are the level designs definitely have taken a lot from Souls.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of things of like you'll be running along and then there's actually an opening to your right and something pops out and hits you. But falling off the level doesn't instantly kill you. It just takes some health off you, come back up on the ledge. There's a lot of kind of looping bits of the map. So you can open up exploration by going to different planets and getting different skills. And a lot of the time you'll use a new skill to go into an area, and then you'll go into that area, you'll go around to do some stuff, and then it will lead you back around to like a lift that takes you to the start, which is very, very Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And like Bloodborne and stuff, because a lot of that stuff is you go to a new area, you go through the thing and do what you need to do, and then there's a switch, you turn a lift on.
Yeah,
and
so
then
it's
you go
almost
down
like
the lift.
Metroidvania-ish, almost.
Yeah, which is like Steam flags all of these games as Metroidvanias, and I would say it's accurate. But yeah, it's much more forgiving than a FromSoft game. Dying gives your experience towards your next skill point to that enemy, and if you successfully hit that enemy, just get them all back. So you don't have to like go to a spot and pick them up. If you die again, you don't lose them permanently. So like it's kind of a lot more forgiving, like Dark Souls light. The elements it has are good, but it definitely, if you are a big Souls fan and you're super into that hyper difficult pattern learning and like challenge, you're probably going to be disappointed by this if that's what you're looking for.
Again, I'm not like a Souls expert, and please, you are, like, tell me if I'm wrong, but I always feel like in the Souls-like games, you're almost like, kind of like this really, I don't want to say like you're a weakling, but like the whole world is oppressive, right? You've got these giant big bosses that are super scary, everything's super deadly, and you're barely just surviving, and you've got to take this like skill. It takes a lot of skill to get through that boss. When you finally do, you go, oh my god, I overcame the impossible, and then you move on to the next one, right? Whereas like in Star Wars universe, like Jedi and the Sith are like the most powerful beings in the world. So it's kind of like this reversal of roles where it's like they've almost tried to add this like Dark Souls, oh my god, the world's scary, but you're fighting stormtroopers, and it's like, ooh, like I guess from a design philosophy that must be quite a difficult pitch.
Yeah, I can imagine that was hard for them to write, because you're completely right. Dark Souls, Bloodborne, I mean Sekiro to a point. Like Sekiro, you are like, you're well trained and things like that, but you are just another shinobi. Like you are like an anti-ninja, basically.
Yeah.
But like Dark Souls, it makes it very, very clear that there are a load of other I can't remember what they call them, but like the
zombie people.
Burnt zombie people.
Yeah.
Like they make it very clear, they're like, yeah, there's loads of them. You're nothing really special. And then you go around and you ring the bells and stuff like that. And it's just like, oh, that's really surprising that you've done that, because you're just basically like this other like rubbish person. Yeah. And Bloodborne, it's just like, yeah, there's loads of hunters. Most of them, like, they go through this like loop, and most of them eventually die and stop coming back, or they just go mad. Like, so both of those games are very like, you're nothing special. You are not. It's not one of those games where it's like, oh, it turns out that you're the almighty, or like you're the fateless, or you're. It's none of that stuff. It's just like, oh, Another one of you. Yeah, all right. That way is the way if you want to do this thing, and that's really it. Whereas this, yeah, you are the last surviving Jedi. You were a Padawan when the Purge began, and it's like obviously a Jedi is way more powerful than stormtroopers, and
Yeah.
there
Well,
is like special anti-Jedi units called Purge Troopers, but even them, like a lot of them, like whilst you're fighting them, are just like, ha, this is the power of a Jedi. So that's about as close as it gets to. It's just that you haven't exceeded their expectations of what a Jedi is.
Very interesting that none of those were around when Luke was all training up, wasn't it? Because that would have been a very short fight, wouldn't it? Just, sorry, plot holes. What plot holes in Star Wars? Never. But yeah, it's interesting. Like I say, it's I feel like I really want to play Fallen Order, and I will pick it up probably next payday because I'm really skint this week. But next week I get paid, so I'm probably going to pick it up then and stream it or whatever, because I really enjoy the Star Wars universe, and we said this last week. This game is there's not really many, if at all any, games set in this time period, the period between episode 3 and 4 of the films, where the Jedi are being hunted to extinction. Like, you go from episode 3 where there's Jedis all over the place, the Jedi Council, to episode 4 where the Jedi are extinct essentially. And so it's really interesting, and as we said before, with the whole, like, the world is supposed to be oppressive, I guess that comes from the Empire being just so vast and so having so many resources that they can kind of, that's probably how they won in the end. It was more through power and of money more than really necessarily power of skill, I guess. But yeah, I think it looks interesting. I think a lot of people who were super like positive when it first came out, I don't want to say like the shine is wearing off now, but there's a lot of people who were like really overly positive about it, and then now you're saying that you're like, it's all right. I guess you're saying it's not a bad game, but it's maybe not, the best game ever.
It's really good. In like the gameplay, and it handles pretty well. It's a little buggy sometimes. I don't want to say buggy because it's not bugs. It's just it's not perfectly put together.
Okay.
DGS, he keeps coming across these giant toad enemies, and almost every time he fights them, they just jump off cliffs and things like that. Because
so badly designed then.
It's not like amazingly put together.
Yeah.
There's a few things where if you try and make it janky, it looks janky.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time when I'm in somewhere where you have to stand still, like we have like lifts where it's basically a loading screen.
Yeah.
I'll like spin my characters around because it's just a thing that I find amusing. It doesn't like that at all. And if you're running along and you wiggle the movement stick, he like tries to go left and right, but his legs kind of like.
I was gonna say, so there was from the gameplay that I've seen, the movement when you are hopping left to right, if you're trying to avoid laser fire and stuff, like it seems really, I don't know how to describe it, but like his leg movements seem like a lot more animated than in a lot of games. Like he seems to like hop more than characters usually do. So I guess that's probably a byproduct of that. Like, I mean, if you try and make things overly realistic in a game like that, when somebody runs around like an idiot with a the joystick, it's gonna happen, isn't it? I mean, I feel like I could probably forgive that kind of thing. It's not really not gonna like ruin the experience for me, but I see what you're saying. I see where you're coming from.
I mean, if that's the cost of, because the traversal's really good, like the jumping around, the rope swinging, the dodges, the jumps look fantastic.
Yeah.
Like if the cost of that is like if I like mess around with a stick, it looks a bit weird. Like I'm willing to pay that price almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it is. It's especially because it's from EA, you kind of expect like a certain quality, but at the same time you kind of expect other things that it doesn't have that aren't good.
You're talking about microtransactions and things like that, I guess.
Like it's still to this point, absolutely no microtransactions. There is a huge amount of customization. I say huge amount. You can really, really customize the lightsaber, and then you have two different outfits. So you have one with a poncho, one without a poncho, and there's like a couple different color schemes for that. You can change the color of your droid, and you can change the color of the ship you're in. But the lightsaber, some of the designs look incredible. Like they're really pretty. So I'm just like, and the fact that I don't have to give any money apart from buying the game, because I bought the deluxe edition for £59. So I was like, but I only bought the deluxe because I knew I wasn't gonna have to put anything more in it. So I was like, a fiver for some extra bits and pieces. I was like, I'm kind of cool with that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I definitely haven't put any footage up of this whole time while we've been talking about Star Wars, which means I've got...
Every time you put footage up, I swear you deliberately find the footage where I look like I have no idea what I'm doing.
I usually just like pick some at random, to be honest. But that's fine. It means less editing work for me. Have you been playing anything else before I move on to what I've been playing this week?
Played a little bit more Graveyard Keeper. I've gotten into the first DLC now. So there is a DLC called Breaking Bad, and there's a DLC called Stranger Things, which I don't know how their DLCs are literally named after other IPs.
I'm guessing they don't have anything to do with those.
Not at all.
No.
So one of them you can run a tavern, and the other one you find a zombie, and you can then create zombies out of the dead bodies, and you can set them to work. So you can there's like a big tree, and you can make a saw factory around it, and you just basically plonk a zombie into it, and he just cuts logs out of a tree forever until you stop him, which is quite nice because the resource management in that game is not easy. It's an awful lot of... It throws you in entirely in the deep end. Once you meet everyone in the town, they've basically all given you side quests. And there's no thing to be like, oh, you need to do this one before you do this one, or you can't do this until you've done this, or it's better to do this bit first. It just goes like, cool, here's all the stuff. Just do it whenever you fancy. So having a fleet of dead people who never get tired, basically just doing a lot of your gathering, is very, very useful, I've found.
Who doesn't want
so I've just gotten to that. I don't have the second DLC. I don't own it. But apparently it's really, really good. It's till a bit later of the game. But you run the tavern in the town, which could be quite cool. I don't know.
Fair enough. It looks interesting. I saw it when it came out, and I thought, oh, that's a game that I might be interested in, and then never got around to buying it. But from what you've played of it, it does seem pretty cool. So what I've been playing this week, I haven't been streaming again. I've not been streaming for like 3 weeks on Twitch, but it's fine. We will be coming back eventually, I promise. But I have been playing today, in fact, I've been playing a game called Black Future 88. And this game is, I'm just going to say it straight away, like really good. I've been having an absolute blast with it today. It's a synth punk, they call it, synth punk roguelite 2D action game. And
I like the colors.
Yeah, it's really good. It's like, it's hard to describe. It's kind of like if Enter the Gungeon and Dead Cells had a baby. That's the best way I can describe it. You run around this, they call it the tower. The idea is to get to the top of the tower, and you have 18 minutes to do it. If the timer runs out, you die of a heart attack. You've got 18 minutes to get to the top. So time runs out, you die. If your health runs out, you die. And it's very, very similar to a lot of other roguelites. Every room has something in it. And you've got like treasure rooms, you've got enemy rooms, you've got boss rooms and so on. And if you're in an enemy room, you can't get out of it until all the enemies are dead. So you've got to clear all the enemies out. You've got to get into the next room. And what's really interesting about this one, and there is a video, if it's not up yet, it'll be up in a few days. So have a card up there. There you go. What's really, really interesting about this one is the whole game has this real heavy element of risk and reward. And I've said this about a lot of roguelike games. Like, I really feel like roguelike games are the best when they have an element of risk and reward. Now, you think about Binding of Isaac or Enter the Gungeon or any of those games. If you're low health and you see a room, if you go in that room, you might die. And because this game, like a lot of other roguelikes, has permadeath, if you die, you've got to start all over again. So you have this real conscious effort of like, if I explore too much, I'm eventually going to die, and that's going to reset my progress. But on top of that, you've also got this time limit. So every room you explore is taking away your time. And not only that, there are rewards. Like, if, for example, there are these little stations where you can trade in time to get an upgrade. So you could trade in like a minute of your 18 minutes to get an upgrade for your character. And that might make you super powerful and let you go through the rooms way more quicker, but it also takes your time away from you. And again, time is a finite currency. Eventually it's going to run out. And so it's really, really interesting. It's very fast paced, really fast paced, very frantic. Sometimes it's hard to see your character because there is so much going on at once on the screen. You've got all these enemies firing bullets at you. It's kind of bullet helly, where you've got all of these different bullets, and very much like Dead Cells, you've got a dodge/dash. and you're invincible while you're dashing, but when you pop out of your dash, if you did it badly, you're going to get hit. And yeah, it's difficult, it's challenging, it's not easy. Certain builds I've found, if you get like a certain weapon that is like really overpowered, or a certain combination of stuff makes you very, very powerful and lets you chew through the enemies really quickly, but there's no invincibility frames unless you're dashing. So if you stand still and someone's shooting at you, like, you die so quickly. Like, this game will not let you stand still. You have to be moving constantly. But it plays really well. It looks gorgeous. It's all pixel art style, and the pixel art is really good. The animations are great. The effects are really good. Soundtrack is great. I mean, the one criticism I had, and this is in the video as well, is that the soundtrack is great, but it does get very repetitive. It seems like every floor has its own soundtrack, if you will. Like, every floor has its own track, but you're going to be going through the first floor a lot. So it's kind of like, I wish they'd mix it up a little bit, because it's like every single time you go back to the first floor, you're like, oh, here's this music again. Even though it's good music, it does start to get a little bit tiresome. But yeah, I feel like you definitely like it. You like Dead Cells. I like Dead Cells as well. And I feel like it's very similar in a lot of ways to that.
I mean, how does it do? Because your criteria for a lot of roguelites is that there has to be some like out of run progression.
Yeah.
So like as you get so far, like there is an overarching progression.
100%.
Does it have that? Or
so it's really interesting that you asked that, because it does. And so every time you end a run, you gain experience, kind of like Slay the Spire, and that experience levels up your player level or whatever, and that will unlock new weapons, new pickups, new upgrades, but it also levels up the tower as well. So one thing that I didn't mention was you know, when you have, like, when an enemy dies, an enemy can drop either currency, like dollars, or it can drop health, or it can drop ammo. If you don't pick those up, they disappear, right? Like in lots of games. But if they disappear, the dungeon, or I keep calling it the dungeon, it's a tower. They call it the Sky Melt, right? But I keep calling it the dungeon. The Sky Melt will claim it, and it will level up. So if you drop too much stuff and don't pick it up, the enemies start getting harder. And so you'll see at the bottom, there's like an experience bar, and it will level up. And if it gets to the top, the dungeon levels up, and it'll be like, now enemies explode. And it's like, it gets progressively harder. So not only, as I'm saying, in like the combat is super frantic, but you're like going like, oh God, I just killed an enemy and he's dropping money. And if I don't grab it, it's going to get harder. So then you rush over there to grab it. But then on the other side of the screen, another enemy's dying because you've got some, like, I don't know, turret that's on your side or whatever. So it makes it really, really interesting and frantic, and the game is like full throttle all the time. And I really like it.
It sounds stressful. It does. I pulled it up on Steam whilst we were talking, and I was gonna say, well, whilst you were describing it before you said about the soundtrack, it looks like it. Like, I've got no sound on this, but it looks like it has a great soundtrack.
It does. It does. It's a really good, like 80s synth soundtrack.
Yeah, it definitely, 100% looks like my kind of game.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are right on that one.
It's like, if you like the fast pace.
Your description, it sounds so stressful.
It isn't. It's not though. Here's the thing: like it can be stressful, but at the same time, because it controls so well and the combat is so much fun, like it's not stressful. You love it, and when you die, it doesn't feel that bad. Like, you don't go like, oh, I died again. You go, do you know what? I just want to get straight back in and have another run. It nails that, like, one more run mentality, you know, like Slay the Spire does. We're like, just one more go. It nails that. But there's a lot of different ways to play. Like, you have all these different guns that all behave really, really differently. One of the characters starts with a sword, and if any gun, there's no reloading, by the way. The game is too fast for that. You don't have to reload a single gun. There's nothing like that. If your gun runs out of ammo, you can just use it as a club, so you can just run around whacking people. Honestly, I said there's no downtime. The game is so fast paced, but in a really, really good way. Like, it's fast paced. It's the perfect roguelike for me. It's like, you could jump on and play like a few rounds of it and then jump off if you wanted to, or you could sit down like I did today. I played for 3 hours straight and I really enjoyed it. So it's also co-op. I didn't even realize until I played it for like 3 hours, and I went to the store page to get some information to put into my video, and it's co-op, local co-op, and it also has Steam's, what did we call it? We talked about it in the pre-show, remote play.
Yeah, that's the one. Where you can couch co-op in different houses, in different counties,
different wherever you want, different wherever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so you briefly touched on it because you kind of said like one of the characters started with the sword. There's multiple characters.
Yeah.
I've got it up here. There's 5 different playable characters with their own unique buffs and weaknesses. Who's your favorite?
The guy with the sword. So you start with 2. You start with like the standard default guy, and you start with a guy who starts with a sword and a gun, and I really like him because there's these things called curses in the game where a lot of upgrades will buff you, but they'll also curse you. And very much like the Binding of Isaac, if an enemy is cursed, it's more powerful. So it's again another risk and reward element. But every time the sword he starts with, the more curses you get, the more powerful the sword becomes. And a lot of his like abilities like really combo well with melee attacks, which melee attacks in that game are super fun because you have to be very quick. Like with a gun, you can sort of stand in a corner and shoot. With that, you can't. So you have to be very quick, and I really enjoy that. So
it's one of the things I love with Dead Cells combat is because even with the different weapons, like some of them are very, very fast, some of them are quite slow, and then everything in between.
Yeah.
One of the last updates they put in the frying pan.
Yeah,
so
I heard of that.
Like double damage. It's it's a really good weapon. But,
yeah.
But yeah, I kind of love the franticness of because obviously the dodge rolls get making you invincible and stuff.
Yeah.
So you sit and like you get as many hits in as you can. As they're about to swing, you roll through it. Or if you have a shield, you can parry. But like I kind of love the melee aspect of it.
Yeah.
So
this is about twice the speed of Dead Cells. Honestly, it is very
Dead Cells
quick.
is quick.
This is a lot quicker. This is so much quicker for me because with Dead Cells you have like turrets that you can put down and stuff like that. This game has like turrets. There's like a little robot guy that you can pick up, and if you're playing as the guy with the sword, you can basically give him one of your weapons. But you've got to remember that if you've got like a little turret guy floating around killing enemies, you better be running around picking up what they drop, because if you aren't, like the tower's getting more difficult. My one criticism is it's very easy to snowball in that game. I went into a room once with full health and I died to one enemy because, again, the enemy was firing so many shots so quickly. I happened to just get caught up in that. But because there's no invincibility frames after you get hit, like 6 shots that could be like 1 second. And so you have to be so lightning fast that like I just died. And it didn't annoy me because I was like, oh, I'll just start again. Like it's so fast paced to get back into it. I was like, yeah, whatever. And like I said before, when we talk about progression, because every time you get XP, no matter what, even if you don't reach the boss, you're still getting some XP, and that XP is leveling up your player level, so you're still progressing anyway. So it's not the end of the world, but I would say that I feel like if you're trying to like complete the game or whatever, it might get a bit frustrating in the end where you're like, you have to be switched on. You can't switch off for a second, because if you do, you're probably going to die. But yeah, overall, really good game. Full video is probably out by now, so go and watch that if you want to see more of it. Yeah, have we played anything else? I think well, I've been playing
I'm still
something.
chugging along on Luigi's Mansion 3. I
finished it.
Remember last week I was saying like I keep not playing it to make the game last longer.
Yeah,
I'm kind of still doing that. I'm so close to the end. Yeah, I got an email from Nintendo and they were like, you have £12 worth of like credit in your account from like gold points. Yeah. So I might be buying a new Switch game soon. Nice.
I recommend Pokemon if you like that kind of thing.
Part of me is like super like interested in Pokemon, but at the same time I haven't played Pokemon since Y, and I never finished Y. I literally I keep getting to a point where I'm just like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So like part of me is a bit like, the old Pokemon games were fine for me, and I was in another streamer's chat the other day and they were talking about Sword and Shield and the fact that they thought that it didn't deserve a lot of the criticism that it got. And I was just like, one of the things that they said was like, yeah, they took a load of the Pokemon out, but like eventually you're gonna not be able to create new Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like there is a finite limit to what things can exist.
100%.
And I was just like, I miss it just being 150. So I kind of don't hate that the Pokedex is shrunk.
I really agree with what Jim Sterling said. I think it would have been better if they'd have just left all of the old Pokemon out and just did 100 or 150 just brand new ones, and just this game was just all new. Because
if they did that, I probably would have. I almost more certainly would have got the game.
Yeah,
it's just overwhelming.
Well, the problem with the current way of doing it is there's always going to be somebody who's disappointed, because it's like, well, I got my favorite Pokemon if you're a Charizard fan, but somebody like your favorite one's probably going to be missing. So it's like, if they'd just left all the old ones out and gone, all of these are brand new ones, then you would have made new favorites, rather than being like, oh, well, I'm grumpy because, I don't know, Squirtle's not in it or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I really don't see why they had to bring any of them back. But anyway, moving on. We spoke about Pokemon. I enjoyed it. I think it's a fine game. I think a lot of Pokemon fans are just being far too hard on it because they're salty about not having the Pokemon, but I can also understand their frustration. So it's one of those things where it's like, I get it, but either play it or don't. Either enjoy it or don't. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm really enjoying it from the one time that I've played it, because I haven't had a chance to play it anymore. One thing I have been playing, which leads us on to our first topic of today, is Dead by Daylight, because I always play Dead by Daylight because it's my main game. The PTB is out. The public test server, public test build. The beta is out. And Oni, the new killer, is live. And oh boy, I have opinions on the Oni. Have you seen any of it? Have you seen any of the like Oni footage and stuff?
Whose stream was I in? It might have been Amy's. They were talking about it in a stream that I was in recently.
Yeah.
And someone was like, "Oh, new killer." So like, I had a very brief Google. There was like YouTube video stuff, but I was like, I don't have time for a video.
Okay.
So I saw the character. Like, I know what it looks like. Model, it looks really cool. It looks really cool.
It does.
Also, I love Oni masks. It is a part of like Japanese culture that I'm a big fan of.
Fair.
But yeah, from what I've heard, he's pretty OP.
Oh, he is massively. So you're a pretty casual Dead by Daylight player, and that's not an insult. You're someone who plays it very, very now and again. I'm someone who plays it quite a lot. So, I logged on to the PTB and played a few rounds of the Oni, and he's so, and apparently people in the Dead by Daylight community get really annoyed when you say this, but like, he's so overpowered. Like, so the way his ability works is he has like kind of two forms. He has his normal form, if you will, and then he has like a rage form. And the way that he gets into rage form is every time he hits a survivor and that survivor starts bleeding, he can absorb these little like blood orbs that fall around. And if the survivor continues to bleed, like if they don't heal themselves up, wherever they run, they will just continue to drop these little blood orbs. And so once the Oni has absorbed enough blood orbs, he can go like into a frenzy mode. And the frenzy mode lets him do two different things. One, it allows him to run around like Hillbilly, except better than Hillbilly, because it doesn't stop if he runs into something. And also he has more control as well. So he has a greater degree of control than the Hillbilly. Like he can sort of like strafe while he's doing it. But also if he bumps into something, it doesn't matter. It doesn't stop him, right? But not only that, he can then swing, like he holds up a charge and he swings and insta-downs somebody. And not only that, if there are multiple people in a close vicinity and you hit both of them, you can down them all. So
he's Hillbilly but better.
Yeah, he's better Hillbilly. I mean, I don't know, like Hillbilly has his own merits, but this guy is just, I mean, because Hillbilly can down anybody at any time. Like he doesn't have to charge up and all that kind of thing. But once Oni is in Frenzy, which I'm going to be honest, the thing they need to do to tone him down is like make it longer for Frenzy, because it's so easy to get into Frenzy. Like, I don't know how you counter him. Like, he's so powerful. Not only can he go really fast, but he can also insta-down you. He can break pallets with his smash attack. He's just crazy. I mean, I played a few games with him. I will be fair. I did play one match where, because I haven't got all the perks for the Oni yet, because I started the PTB with like 3,000 blood points, so I couldn't make any decent perks. So I've got no like ruin or anything. But yeah, like I got destroyed one match by a good team of Swifts, but obviously that's because I have no perks and stuff, right? But when they're not great, like really top tier players, like I just stomp with him, like more than any other killer.
Sorry, I'm just looking up his perks. His green perk is incredible.
I was gonna get onto the perks.
Sorry, I got so ahead of the conversation.
No, you're okay. I mean, that was pretty much what I wanted to say about the Oni.
I was checking out his power, and I was just having a look at the description on it, and it's just like, yeah, okay, I see. Did you say his demon strike breaks pallets?
Yes.
That's pretty OP.
Yeah. So just like Billy, like if he's charging, he can just smack a pallet down. Yeah, he's a beast. So perks wise, I haven't really massively tested out all the killer perks in different scenarios yet, but there's one that whenever you down a survivor, any survivors that are injured become hemorrhaged, so they start bleeding out everywhere.
So it's when you hook a survivor, all of the injured survivors get hemorrhaged. So if everyone's hit but still walking around and you hook someone, they will get hemorrhage.
Yeah, which means they bleed way more, so you can find them a lot easier. On the Oni, it means that they drop a load more blood, so you can go into frenzy quicker. But with general killers, that'll make it a lot easier to find people.
It exhausts as well.
Yeah, it exhausts. That's the big thing. It exhausts them, which most people run exhaustion perks.
The end game goes and just stop everyone's adrenaline.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting how that would work with adrenaline. I think adrenaline ignores exhaust though. So you'd be okay with that one. But yeah, the killer perks are all right. What's his other one? He has
Zanshin Tactics, which shows you all pallets and vault locations.
No, not that one.
Meters.
There's an obsession one.
When you hit people, it stops. And then Nemesis is the one that I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Anytime you get blinded or pallet stunned or locker stunned, as well, it makes that person their your obsession, and it shows you their aura for 4 seconds and makes them oblivious for 40.
Yeah, which oblivious means
Which
they
is
can't hit a
like-
terror radius, which means for like stealth killers or whatever, like, oof.
No terror
Or just
radius,
any
but like,
killers.
say you get blinded and you're not sure which way they went, you know exactly where they went.
Yeah, which most good killers will know where a survivor goes when they blind you, because you don't get blinded until they're injured and you can listen to them. But regardless,
But I'm
it's
a
good.
trash killer, so
But have you heard, and I know some people don't play Dead by Daylight, so we're not going to like go on this topic for too long, but have you heard of Yui's new perk, which I think is going to be game changing? The new survivor Yui, she's a badass biker chick. I love her already. She has a perk where it's on a cooldown, but she can lift pallets back up. So if there is a downed pallet, she can lift them back up. And I think it might be the best perk ever invented, because for people who don't know how Dead by Daylight works, if you don't play it, essentially pallets are survivors' most strong defense, and they can drop it to stun a killer, but usually a killer will then break that pallet. But because breaking a pallet takes time, sometimes the killer won't break the pallet and he'll run around the pallet to try and catch the survivor. So with this perk, if there is a pallet that gets dropped and then the killer runs away, you can just reset it and make another, like make a loopable again. And we've never had that before in the game up until now. If a pallet has been dropped, it's dropped. So it's either dropped or it's broken. There's never way to reset them. So now that you can reset them, like, I feel like there's going to be certain things that start to happen, like dropping pallets on a killer, getting your friend to take the killer away, and then, like, you know, resetting it or whatever. I think it's going to make killers break pallets more, which is going to take up their time.
It has a cooldown of 160 seconds. That's quite long indeed. Really.
It does have a long cooldown. I
mean, it stops you just doing it constantly, because that'd be a nightmare.
Sure.
For
Yeah, of course.
I mean, Legion now in meta, just hop over him.
True. But a lot of people are saying it really helps for people, for example, who drop the Killer Shack pallet too early and stuff like that. You know, if you can get there in time, you can reset it, and then because the Killer Shack pallet is they call it the God pallet because it's the most powerful pallet in the game. So being able to reset that if some idiot drops it, like, it's a good thing. Obviously, you've got to get there before the killer, but it's a good thing. So I think that's going to shift the meta a little bit. I think it's going to, if survivors start running it in droves, it's going to make killers play around pallets differently, which is cool. I think it's pretty cool. I think... Go on.
She looks really cool.
Yui does. Yui looks cool, yeah.
She's got like another perk where, like, if she's near a carry survivor, increase their wiggle speed by 20%.
And it makes her faster so she can get flashlight saves better. I think that's the idea. It's a save people have been picked up perk, which I'm sure all of the toxic swifts are going to find a way to abuse it, of course. So just before we move on from the Oni, I've got a couple more bits of Dead by Daylight, but the Oni, I want to be honest though, I feel like he's really fun to play. He obviously is overpowered and he needs changing a little bit. He's really fun to play. I really enjoy playing him, but one thing I will say is I don't think he fits the game. Like, I don't tonally, you know, how he feels. Like, he doesn't feel like horror. And I know some killers are way more horror orientated than others. Obviously, we've got like Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger. They're like the top tier horror people, and people like the Demogorgon aren't quite as horror. But like, this guy really isn't horror to me. Like, he really, I don't. And I said this with Plague as well, but like, I don't see where their horror aspect fits. Like, what?
I kind of see what you mean. I mean, they've definitely gone to lengths to make him look more horror based. Yeah. Like the grey skin, like he's huge.
Yeah, he is.
As well. He's really
He's
big.
scary when he goes like frenzy, but only scary in the way that you're like, oh shit, I need to move.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He goes, but he's more. I just don't. I don't feel like tonally he fits with the rest of the game though. Like every other killer is like somebody who's like a serial killer or a murderer who got brought to this place. Like, what's this guy? Like, he's like a demon. He's not even human. He's like giant demon Oni man. It's like I don't know.
Well, yeah, because an Oni mask is like a demon in a mask. So
yeah.
I'm assuming it's supposed to be a human that put the mask on. Or whatever.
Well, I mean, it's related to the spirit. It's
yes, I was going to say you've got the spirit, which is like a ghost.
Yeah, but she's like her analogy is like the Grudge films or the Ring films. Like she's very, in my opinion, she's very heavily based on those kind of films. You know, those Japanese like horror.
Yeah.
But like again, I can't think of like a horror movie that this relates to or like any sort of it. I don't know. I just don't like it. Like I feel like they're going more and more away from the horror aspects of the game. Like the last 3 killers. No, if you don't count Ghostface, the last 3 killers have been not very horror. You've got Demogorgon, Plague, and now the Oni, and none of those are like scary You know what I mean? So I guess Demogorgon is a little bit. But Plague and Oni are just, I don't think they fit in the game. I don't think they really fit. And it's kind of a shame. I don't know. I don't want to say like I almost wish they weren't there, but it really makes me appreciate when you actually do get like a good licensed killer in the game, because like Myers is for me, and I was going to make a video about this ages ago, but for me Myers is the ultimate killer in this game because he's scary. If Myers is behind you, you're like, oh crap. Like,
Myers scares the poop out of me.
Exactly.
Every time we come up against him, and like it's because like you'll be like looking around it whilst you're on a generator, and then you're like, as you turn, it's just like, because he's huge, it's the mask.
Yeah, like he gives you that sense of dread. You're like, don't be around Myers. Speaking of scary, I was playing, Ruby was streaming the other day and I was playing with her. I wasn't live, but I was playing and I got jump scared so badly. I was on a gen and I was looking around, blah, blah, and I turned around and Ghostface was like, right, like there was like a little wall next to the gen, like a short wall, and his face was just there. And I turned around, I was like, no, my God. And like, I honestly, I shit myself. I was like, what the fuck? And then obviously down me.
Like, there's definitely footage somewhere of us playing Survivor and we're Myers match,
yeah,
and like you guys will be off somewhere else, and I'll just be like, yeah, I've just got a Jenny, it's fine, like, I can't hear anything, and then you just hear me go like, oh no.
Yeah,
what's happening? I'm like, no.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I love about Dead by Daylight, like the Myers and the Ghostface and that kind of thing. I mean, even like Hag, she's scary. Like I like those aspects of it.
When the things come up and you're just like,
yeah, but like Oni doesn't fit in with that for me. Oni is very like, I don't know how to describe it. He's very powerful. Like, you're very much like, I don't want to be near the Oni, but he doesn't have any horror to him whatsoever. He needs something to make him more horror aspect, but I don't know what that would be.
Obviously, because it's based on Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but like the cannibal, I don't find scary at all. I find him a bit doofy.
Yeah, I mean,
like
Leatherface,
when he messes with the chainsaw, he's like, yeah. It's like.
But again, like you see the horror aspect from that. You see the horror roots. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I see the roots, but at the same time, like having like roots in a horror genre isn't the same as, I would say, like a good horror character in DBD.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, my favorite killer forever has been the Spirit, and I love her lore and her aesthetic and everything. Speaking of the Spirit, she's been nerfed. For anybody who plays Dead by Daylight mainly as a survivor, you'll be very happy to hear the Spirit's prayer beads, which were the ones that usually took her whooshing sound away, now make the whooshing map wide. So when she's whooshing, you don't know where it is, but everybody can hear it. So I feel like that's I'm gonna miss prayer beads because as a killer they were super fun, but I understand from the survivor side of it that there was no counterplay to it, so it wasn't fair. As fun as it was to like jump scare people and grab them off gens, it wasn't fair because you couldn't counterplay it. So I guess everyone's gonna be really happy. Apparently Legion, some of the perks of buff Legion, and that's going to make Legion, everyone's going to start playing Legion again, and now Legion's going to be OP. Balance landing.
If it makes Legion fun to play and fun to play against, I'm fine with it.
No,
but
apparently it's gone back to old Legion about how unfun he was. But yeah, the balance landing.
I don't even like playing him. Like,
no, I don't like playing Legion. He's boring. But yeah, balance landing now in the PTB. If you're exhausted, it won't reduce the stagger. So balance landing's had a big nerf. It will reduce the sound that you make when you fall, which is good, is helpful, but it won't reduce the stagger if you are exhausted. So basically balance landing's had a big nerf. Yeah, that's the PTB. I need to play some more of it so I can get a real solid opinion, but I expect Oni to be toned down. I expect Oni to be nerfed.
Hasn't almost every killer come out weaker than they PTB'd?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of killers come out super powerful on PTB, then quite powerful on release, and then they get nerfed eventually. And I've said this before, I don't want to accuse behavior or anything. I don't think there's any ill will, but it is very much like a lot of games, and I criticize Heroes of the Storm for doing this as well. Like a lot of games, when they release a new character, they try to make them so fun that they release them overpowered, so everyone rushes out and buys that character, and then they nerf them. And this is a problem of all games that release new characters over time.
League of Legends has the same thing. Dota has the same thing.
Yeah,
like,
I can forgive
competitive.
it. Yeah, of course, I can forgive it. And it means that if you do rush in early and get to play that character, you get to stomp for a bit. But it would be nice.
I mean, can you imagine they released a brand new character and you played it and they were just like rubbish? You're like,
Yeah,
This is
no,
not
I
fun.
get it. And it takes time to balance these things. But one thing that I will say that is a general statement about Dead by Daylight is that a lot of people, I think, are getting tired of the whole, like, they'll balance the game around the perks that they've got now, and then they release a lot of new perks. But what a lot of time, I feel like they release these new perks, and then that undoes a lot of the balancing that they did. This is why, and I've said this before, I wish they'd slow down on the new releases almost, because I feel like, as much as I love new content, and I love new content coming to Dead by Daylight because the new killers are fun, new perks are fun, like, you never really have any good balance with the game, because as soon as they're nearly getting it right, then they wreck it all again with their new perks. So it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like the game is just in a perpetual state of unbalance. And we've said this before, it's an asymmetrical competitive game. It's never going to be balanced. You can't balance a 1v4 game, right? Not fully. But I feel like they get to a point where it's almost good, and then they just wreck it. And it's like that, coupled with the performance issues that we've had since day one. Well, I've not played since day one, but they've been there apparently. And I just feel like I wish they'd spend a little bit more time like improving the general game and a little bit less time adding new stuff to the game. But that's just my opinion. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I know we have a lot of Dead by Daylight fans. Maybe you want more content. Who knows? But yeah, that's Dead by Daylight. I'm still enjoying it as much as I give it criticism. I'm really enjoying the game still. I feel that Oni's gonna be a game changer. So if you've not played for a while, might be worth hopping on. Speaking of horror games,
Boo.
Resident Evil 3 is reportedly under development.
Allegedly in the works.
Which would not surprise me after how much of a smash hit Resident Evil 2 was. I mean, but here's the thing: like I can't. Like, I'm happy. Like, I can't be sad about it. Like, it was Resident Evil 2 was such a good game. It was such a great remake. And anybody who's looking forward to our like end of year, we're calling it the Grumpy Gaming Awards. But anyone who's looking forward to that, expect Resident Evil 2 to be on some lists, because I goddamn enjoyed it. If it's of the same quality. You don't like horror games, though. You're a wussy boy.
Yeah, DPD scares me, and I was.
I mean, to be fair,
I was okay for Man of Medan.
Yeah, Man of Medan wasn't that scary, but I mean, I love horror, and DBD even scares me. So, but yeah, Resident Evil 2 was a really well made, really well designed, very well polished game. And if we get that level of love for the third game, I'm more than happy. I'm massively on board. I'm a little bit annoyed that we haven't had any word on Dino Crisis Remake, because god damn it, Dino Crisis was amazing. Dino Crisis 2 was very, very good. Dino Crisis 3 should burn in a ditch, but we will ignore that one. So why not remake Dino Crisis, please? Now, thanks, appreciate it. Dino Crisis, hashtag get it trending.
I mean, yeah, I didn't play Dino Crisis either. I saw Darren played it on stream, and he was really bad at it.
It's a tricky game.
We looked at like some of the speedrun times for it versus his time for it, and I mean, he lives in poor screens like 90% of the time, so there's that sort of part of it.
True. It was a challenging game. I mean, even for Resident Evil fans, it was challenging. It brought extra mechanics that made it a little bit more difficult. And the dinosaurs in that game, like the zombies in Resident Evil 1 were like super easy. The Velociraptors, which were the main enemy in Dino Crisis, were not easy. And whereas Resident Evil had this real ramp up of difficulty where it went from like pretty easy to like hard towards the end, Dino Crisis went from hard to harder. So It was honestly, it was tricky, but I loved it. So please remake. Eventually I might finish off my Let's Play of it. I did a load of recording of a Let's Play, and I think, did I do 1 or 2 episodes? I think I did 2 episodes of it and then got too busy. But yeah, Resident Evil 3, I feel like, why not? I almost wish though, and this is something that I've just thought about just now, I almost wish they would remake Resident Evil 1 again. Because they remade Resident Evil 1, they remade the remake, because there was a GameCube remake, and they remade that for PC and PlayStation 4, right?
Wait, was that a remake of 1? Because there was the GameCube one where you had the controller was a chainsaw.
Huh?
Did you ever see that?
It rings a bell. But no, there was Resident Evil 1 on the PlayStation 1, and then it got remade for the GameCube, and then it got remade for PC and PlayStation 4. But it's still the top-down tank controls. I would love to see Resident Evil 1 with the modern third-person controls, honestly, because I feel like
no, that was Resident Evil 4 with the chainsaw controller.
Oh, yeah. I was like, rang a bell with the chainsaw, but no, I think Resident Evil 1 with the new modern system would be really, really good. I mean, 1's obviously the favorite, so after they've done 3, maybe it might be a good time to do 1 and Dino Crisis, but we can, I guess we can live in hope. But yeah, there's not much else to say on it. It's allegedly been made. I hope it is. I will for sure be picking that up if it is. So Capcom, hook me up. I'm not saying
Capcom, make it happen.
I'm not saying hashtag free copy. I'm just it's exactly what I'm saying. But yeah, Resident Evil, go. We have. Are you researching? Are you researching as we speak?
Maybe. I'm doing way too many Google searches. I have like 100 tabs open.
Yeah, for Resident Evil.
No, not for Resident. Well, some of it's Resident Evil. Some of it's just looking at weird GameCube controllers now.
Oh, okay.
I'm very easily distracted.
Why not?
No, I found
Why
the
not?
Resident Evil 1 remake on GameCube, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. But then again, as we've already said, not massively into Resident Evil. So
Yeah, you're not really a big horror boy, are you? I am. So I love a horror game. I feel like if I had to pick one genre that I could only ever stream one genre, it probably would be horror. Just because I don't know. If I had to stream one, it's a very streamable genre for me. I feel like people love seeing people get scared, especially like a big beardy boy like me. They're like, yeah, let's watch him poo himself like a little girl.
fair enough. But yeah, so from what I've seen so far, the Resident Evil 3 remake has apparently been in production for a little while now. They just didn't announce it anywhere. And it's not announced, it's just people close to the development have said that it's going. But obviously they're also working on Project Resistance, which is the multiplayer one where Watson was a mastermind. And
I've said it looks all right.
I'm interested to see what they do with it, but at the same time, I'm like...
Every time Resident Evil tries to break the mold, though, they just end up breaking the game instead. I'm really like... I don't know. I feel like Resident Evil was one of those genres, kind of like Metal Gear Solid, where it was such a strong contender that they were like, let's reinvent the wheel, and then they just broke the car. Like, why did they need to reinvent the wheel? You had a good thing. Why'd you have to ruin it? You know what I mean? Like Resident Evil, what was it called? The zombie one? Resident Evil Zombies? I don't know. No one knows because no one played it because it was garbage.
You know that one zombie Resident Evil game?
I meant Metal Gear. Sorry, Metal Gear. There was a Metal Gear Solid that was zombies.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was one after
Metal
5. I don't know what it was.
Some of the Metal Gears, like Silent, is a strange. Like the fact that Kojima was just like, yeah, she breathes through her skin.
Yeah, no, I mean we've had that controversy, we've had that talk before.
Whatever floats your boat.
You're actually a pervert. She breathes through her skin, don't you know? Like, no, you're the perv. You're the one making naked women on your game. Anyway, moving on. We have an interesting topic today, and it regards streaming. So if you're not into like the live streaming world, just tune out now. I mean, like the video.
But if you like that tea, though.
Yeah, if you like that tea, we're going to be spilling some today. No holds barred. So there's been a lot of discussion again about stream coaching. This has been an ongoing, the whole time I've been a streamer, which has been like 2 years now. There's been this has always been a topic, and this is a topic that I don't think's ever going to go away. And the general gist of the topic is people are doing things with stream coaching, and a lot of people are upset about it. That seems to be the general gist. I mean, just to like give you a kind of introduction to the topic, if you've never heard of stream coaching or whatever, this has been an argument that's been going on for a long time because there's a lot of people who want to do well in streaming. Obviously, some people want to do it because there's money in it, which, do you know what? I've said this before. Look, hey, I don't see a problem in that. If you come to streaming to try and make some money, there's no problem with that. Get used to working 80-hour weeks for less than minimum wage for a while, but sure. Some people want to do it because they want to be famous. Some people want to do it because they love video games and this is their way into the video game industry. That's kind of my route. And whatever, there's a lot of people who have been very successful in streaming, and there's more people that really want to be successful in streaming. So naturally, when there's a demand for something, and that something is difficult, there are people that will pop up claiming to be able to make that happen. And this is what's happened with stream coaches. People have claimed to be able to help you become a successful streamer, helping you to increase whatever your viewership or your content or whatever. And this topic, I feel like we could probably make an entire podcast episode on this topic because of how complex it goes. But what do you think, just as a general, before we get into the details, what do you think about stream coaching in general? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Do you think that should we, should people like go have a stream coach?
I mean, so we kind of had a small conversation about this pre-podcast, and like my thoughts on it are a bit like in the same way as some games with the microtransactions where it's just like you can just avoid the grind. Like maybe you don't have the time to play a video game for how many hours and you'd rather like skip some of that stuff, but you have the money to do it. Well, kind of like if there is a demand for something and people have the money and the want for it, then I'm kind of like, sure. And when we spoke about it earlier, I was saying like it's no different to kind of like personal trainers at the gym. You can go out, you can find gym routines, you can work out what exercise is going to work best for you. You can do all that research. You can go to the gym, you can lift things on your own or with a friend, but you will get faster and better results if you have a trainer because they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They can do things like nutrition with you, and they can like spot you, make sure your form's really good. If you have better form, you'll get better results. And initially, my attitude on this was, well, it's just a personal trainer for streaming. It's going, here are things you can do for your content that is going to make your content more successful. Here are maybe some things behind the scenes that you're not aware of that you could work on. Here's how to do social media, and all of that stuff. And then we started looking at a few of the things, and it got a bit more like, ugh. But generally, I'm like, if people want to pay to have someone to teach them to do a thing, I have no problem with that.
So I can totally understand that way of thinking. If you take that analogy of a personal trainer or a gym coach, you think, well, I want to get fit. I could do that myself. However, this person knows way more about it than me. They will help me do it. I will pay them for that service. And I feel like that's the core concept behind streamer coaching. However, because there's always a but, that should be on a t-shirt. Probably is. There's always a but. And the but here is that with a gym coach, right, they factually know what will work, right? I mean, of course, there's like variation in different like training regimes you could do and different dietary things and all sorts. But generally speaking, if you are eating better and exercising more, you're going to lose weight. If you are lifting super heavy weights every day, you're going to get stronger. Those things are based in science. They are fact. That's going to happen, right? So when you go to the gym and your personal trainer says, hey, you want to lose weight, do these things, you'll lose weight. The reason for that is they've done that with, over the course of time, thousands of people have done that and it's always worked for them, right? So, and just to add on to that, before we get into my but, obviously different people have different needs. And this is what the whole, wow, this is like the whole part, like a good coach will go, okay, you have a specific need that maybe somebody else doesn't. My job is to find that out and make that work for you, right? Getting into streaming though, and here's where people start to get really angry about this topic. Streaming is not that. Streaming is not do this more and you will succeed, right? Because there are plenty of people out there that are making fantastic content that aren't getting seen, aren't getting successful or whatever. There are loads of people out there that, in my opinion, are making absolute dog crap content that rise to fame due to one, thing or another. Streaming is so difficult to nail what makes one person successful and another. In fact, I think it's impossible to nail what makes one person. Like, why is Ninja more successful than, I don't know, picking someone at random, like streamer XYZ, right? Like, why? And this is the problem. And this is why I think a lot of people get really angry about stream coaching, is because these people are saying, hey, you do this, you'll get successful. But then these people do this and then they don't become successful. Or the problem with stream coaching is that they never explicitly say you'll be successful if you do it. They always imply it. They always go, oh, well, like I've had all of these other people and they've got really good at it. But then you find a lot of people that go and get stream coaching and then it doesn't help them, or you know what I mean? And it's like, it's a lot more gray area, because you're selling a service that you necessarily maybe you can't even provide, like again, go back to the gym analogy. Like if you go to the gym and you're there for a year and you don't lose any weight, you'd be like, well, I want my money back, right? Like, I did what you said. I did exactly what you said. It didn't work. I need my money back. You're obviously bad at your job, right? But then again, with streaming, there's never going to be a guarantee. Like you could have, and here's the thing, like let's just, to be fair to stream coaches, right? You could be given brilliant advice, right? You could be given amazing advice. You could have a stream coach who knows exactly what they're doing, who's probably helped loads of other streamers do really, really well, and it might not work for you. So it's like, you know what I mean?
I mean, this is it, because it comes down to the whole thing of like, because odds are, if you take on a stream coach, and like one of the first things they're going to say, and one of the things that made a huge difference to my content was stream on a schedule.
Yeah.
And odds are everything else they teach you may have absolutely no impact whatever. But if you are streaming on a schedule, odds are, even if you don't grow to be ninja, you are gonna grow. Like your averages are gonna go up. You're gonna get more followers. In turn, you're probably gonna get more subscribers if the content you're putting out is good. And also, like, you have your perks in place, like your emotes and things like that. So the fuss you're gonna get is that if they're then saying like, okay, but when you do your content, you should be like doing this, or you should be aiming for, because I don't know what they're going to say. This is the fuss.
Yeah.
But if they say like, oh, this time zone is going to be best for the game that you're in, or you need to switch from this game to this game because of whatever. And if the streaming on a schedule is like bumping your averages up, and you turn around and go like, I'm not seeing the effects of this, they're going to go like, oh, well, look at your averages. And you're going to go like, oh, I've gone from 3 average viewers a stream to 5 average viewers a stream.
Yeah.
And they're going to, like, effectively, what I can see happening is them being like, well, you can't rush these things. Like, some people grow at different rates. And and it like makes me think of like all the times you'll see on Twitter of people being like, oh, like, how long was it between you getting affiliate and partner? It's like their journey through that and your journey through that are probably going to be completely different things.
Yep.
And this is where the stream coaching gets weird.
I have and this is just purely my own opinion. When it comes to anything streaming, everything is opinion based because there are no facts, right? But I feel like there is an element of when you're small enough, and when I say small enough, I'm talking if you're streaming to like 2 or 3 people or something like that, right? I feel like there's an element where when you're small enough, like little tiny things boost you so much, right? Well, this is where people say like, oh, I really wish I get raided or whatever. Because if you're sat at 0 viewers and somebody raids you, that's a big boost to you. If if you're sat at 0 viewers and someone raids with 5 people, all of a sudden that's a lot of people, right? If you're sat at 100 viewers and someone raids you with 5 people, it's not really a big deal. I might sound like ungrateful. Let's just state facts, right? In the grand scheme of being a successful streamer, if you're sat at 100 viewers, 5 doesn't really give you the same benefit as it does when you're sat at 0, right? And I feel like it's the same thing when you combine like these stream coaches who have these big communities. It's almost like you get to this point of where it's like, well, we'll give you some stream coaching, and then all of a sudden all of the people out of this community that we formed together start raiding you, and then you start seeing your numbers increase, and it's almost like that was influenced by something else other than necessarily the coaching service that you've been provided. And this is what I'm saying. I feel like most people that like seek out the stream coaching are in that like bottom level position. And again, this is not a dig at anybody. Like numbers isn't everything, right? Just because you're sat at 20 viewers and someone's sat at 10, that doesn't mean that the 20 viewer streamer is a better streamer. But again, when you're trying to grow your streams and you're growing your platform, this applies to YouTube as well. When you're trying to grow like somebody bigger than you, you look up to them, right? So when you see somebody on double the views you're at, you always go, they're a bigger streamer than me, right? So I feel like the people that really want this stream coaching are the people that are sat at like 0 to 5 viewers, people that have barely any community yet, barely any sort of traction. And that's like, in my honest opinion, that's like the easiest bit to get out of, because like it is. I feel like what I'm trying to get at is a lot of streamers, right, will blow up from like no viewers to like 10, then to 20, then to 30, and then stop. They will just stop growing. They will plateau, they will peak, they will gain some viewers, lose some viewers, gain some followers, lose some followers, and they kind of stay. And then every time you get up to like that next level, it becomes more difficult, and you've got to try and like, do new things and stuff. And I feel like a lot of these people that are going after stream coaches are those people at that bottom layer who probably should be going to resources like YouTube to like, learn more, or are in that unique position where they can just try whatever they want because like they don't have anything to lose. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean it's a crazy thing, because like one of the arguments for this thing is like a lot of people on Twitter are saying like, well, all the resources are like out there and you can do your own research and do that. And the argument from the people defending the stream coaching is that like, yeah, but we've compiled the research and we've done our own research on top of that, and we've put together like resource things out. And I'm just like, honestly, because there's so many people nowadays. Like Twitch and stuff is so huge,
Yeah.
that there's not just like easily accessible and findable resource out there, but there's like almost too much resource out there. Like if you
I disagree, man. I think like there are a lot of YouTubers who specifically give streaming advice, and a lot of those people literally are doing what stream coaches are doing for free. They are gathering all information from their own, personal experiences and from other people's experiences, compiling it into a here's top 10 ways to grow your stream, folks, and that is for free. And like when we're talking about for free, a lot of these stream coaches are charging, in my opinion, extortionate amounts for what services they are offering, especially considering that there is no guarantee of this success as well. This is something that I want to be very, very clear on. A lot of people are charging, we're talking hundreds of dollars per hour for a service that isn't going to guarantee you anything. And that's where it gets very dicey. It gets very dicey because, I mean, I've said this before, anytime you are handing over money for something, and this includes games, right? Anytime you are handing money over for something, there should be, in my honest opinion, a reasonable expectation that you are getting something back for your money. So if you give me $100, right, I give you a chair that I carved, right? Whatever, it could be anything. It doesn't matter. There should be a reasonable exchange. And this is one of the greatest problems with stream coaches, is that there are never any guarantees. You could pay thousands of dollars over hundreds of hours of stream coaching and still suck. Let's be honest, you could still be crap at streaming, or maybe you didn't enjoy it, or maybe you were really, really good. Maybe you were an amazing streamer, but you just haven't been discovered because Twitch is a very difficult platform to be discovered on. So this is why I'm really not a fan of stream coaching, because we spoke about this in the pre-show. And we have some evidence to back this up. I don't know if we're going to explicitly show it, but we have some evidence to back this up, that whenever there is a stream coaching service that's provided, there's always loads of disclaimers. There's always loads of this is just a trial run, or there is no guarantees this is going to work, or you are agreeing to basically waiver your right to complain. And that's fine if the amounts we're talking about are small, $20 an hour or something. But this isn't what's happening. These people are charging hundreds and hundreds of dollars per hour in some cases. And if you're paying that amount of money, you expect to get something in return, right? Now, what do you think about that?
I mean, it's one of those things of, like, I've always called lottery idiot tax. Like, you're paying for a chance at something.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is almost like the same way. Like, it's one of those things where like the person at the top that's running this is always going to win.
Yeah.
And some of the people like on the customer end of this might win.
So you're saying that somebody at the top, right? And there's one person at the top, and then there's loads of people at the bottom. So you could almost...
So at the bottom would be wider.
Yeah. You could almost say it was a triangular or maybe even a pyramid shape.
Illuminati.
Maybe.
It's the Illuminati.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, stream coaches are Illuminati, confirmed. Don't mess with the stream coaches; they will get you. But yeah,
I mean, it's one of those things. Like, and any service, if it's like you start and you see like the advertisements for these things, and you get a lot of like, oh well, we're gonna do a limited offer of like a discount of this, and it's like, okay, but you're saying a discount of this, and it's worth more, but you are the one that's decided the value of it. So actually,
yeah.
And I'm just like, and then it says limited, and I just,
yeah.
I hate that stuff because it makes you feel slimy. It just does.
This is the thing, and you know me, I try to give a fair chance to any side of debate. We're not out here to attack anybody. We're not out here to be like, don't ever do stream coaching. And while we're debating this topic, if you're somebody who has had stream coaching and it's worked for you, fantastic. If you're somebody who's thinking about having stream coaching and you're thinking about paying the money, all I would say to you is critically evaluate if you're going to get a return on your investment. If you can afford it, if you've got loads and loads and loads and loads of money, right, then let's be realistic, you probably don't need stream coaching. But if you have loads of money and you just want to throw it away and see if it works, then go ahead. But I feel like a lot of the people that are paying for stream coaching probably don't have a lot of money. Probably a lot of these people, they could potentially spend a few $100s upgrading their equipment or buying games to stream, and they're going to go and spend it on something that may not necessarily help them. And like I've always said, I try my hardest to be a consumer advocate. I try my hardest to say, look, protect yourselves as a consumer. If you aren't 100% happy with what you're buying, don't buy it. Right? If you feel like what you're buying maybe if it sounds a bit too good to be true, maybe go and like find some people who are not affiliated with that person and ask them about it. Maybe try and find, because here's another thing, you always hear like people are saying, well, I had stream coaching and it was great, and they turn out to be friends of the stream coaches or in that community of the stream coach, and it's kind of like, again, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that necessarily, but you have to question if they're all in the same community. Of course they're all going to say that it was great and it worked successfully, because they're going to benefit from all of that money that you're going to spend on the stream coaching service. So I mean, be careful,
because like realistically, say you take the stream coaching and you get along with, like, if it's affiliated with the community, you start getting along with the community, join the community, probably you would have got the same results by just integrating with the community. Like,
possibly. Well, I mean, let's just take that as a good example. I mean, look at a lot of Discord communities that sprung up to be like, hey, help grow your Twitch stream in this Discord community. Exactly the same thing. They didn't benefit anybody, because what happens is everybody flocks to that Discord server, all hoping to grow, and then all of a sudden somebody at the top being like, hey guys, remember that stream we were going to do telling you how to utilize the Discord server, telling you how you can grow? If you all show up at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, we'll tell you how this Discord server is going to help you grow. And then all of those people flock to that stream, and all of a sudden you've got a massively successful streamer. You know what I mean? And that was happening loads until people cottoned on to the whole fact that they were all, let's be fair, they were all scams, right? Again, pyramid schemes. So I feel like there's definitely people that are in stream coaching because they want to help others, and it takes time, and they're thinking, hey, if something takes time and I'm a professional at it and I can do it, I deserve to be paid for it. I also think there's some people who are just trying to exploit people while they still can, and in 2 or 3 years time, people are gonna be sat there going, don't use stream coaches, like, it's not worth it, or if you're gonna do it, do that one, because that one over there is the right one, that's the one that's not gonna exploit you. So I feel like it's a very interesting time for the streaming industry. There's lots of people wanting to do it. There's lots of people willing, apparently, to pay money to try and be successful at it. But what I would say, and this is just my own personal opinion, is before you fork out any money, do it for a year. Do it for a year. Try super hard at it for a year before you put any money into it. Because, like, don't get me wrong, like, I've streamed for 2 years. I'm moving a little bit more into YouTube now rather than live streaming. That doesn't mean I'm not still streaming. I'm going back to Twitch as soon as I can. But, like, I don't know. If I can grow a stream to 2,000 followers in 2 years, that's roughly 1,000 followers a year. Bearing in mind, I've barely been streaming for the last, like, 5 or 6 months, right? Like, if I can do that from my bedroom, like, why can't you? I didn't pay no stream coacher for it. Like, I tried really, really hard. Like, I put effort into my streams. I, like, watched my VODs back and went, that was a crap stream. Let's try and avoid what I did there and do something different. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're not putting that amount of work into your streams to try and grow it, then you're not going to grow. So, like, paying, it's not a shortcut. Again, go back to the gym analogy, right? You can pay for a fitness coach, but you still have to put the hard work in. So I feel like anybody who's considering it, do it for a year, see how it works. And if you're pretty good at it, but you feel like you need that extra boost, then look into stream coaching. If after a year you've gone, do you know what? Maybe streaming's not for me. Or maybe, like, I've learned enough now that I know what I need to do myself rather than just handing over money. But that's my opinion on that one.
I mean, I would say there's so much free resource out there where, and like, so you're saying, and I think it's a really good suggestion of, like, just try it for a period of time first, whether it's a year, 6 months, like, try it for a bit and then see, like, how successful you are. But, like, there's so many free resources out there. Like, say you were going to try to really grow your stream and you were like, right, I'm going to stream 5 evenings a week for 6 months before I even consider any of this stuff. Like, maybe do 3 evenings a week and 2 evenings where you sit and you go through resources and you look at advice from people that is free. You watch, there's so many YouTubes out there with great stuff. Network, go into other people's streams. Like, don't go into someone's stream going like, I'm going to be a great streamer. Like,
no, like, I feel like it's a really
find
valid
some
point.
Friends. Like, my last year has been crazy of meeting new people and stuff like that. And it's really, really helped, like, my content get better. Yeah. And I didn't pay for any of that. I just met people and became friends. Like me and you this year, we met, we started a podcast, and we started doing YouTube stuff, going to events. And, like, there are so many things you can do before you're like, okay, I'm going to pay someone.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. And I feel like,
free.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like there is potentially a place for stream coaches, but I also feel like what a lot of people need to realize is that stream coaches aren't your answer. If you're crap at streaming, right, that is fine. You can fix that, but that's something that if you can't pay somebody to fix your bad behaviors, if you will. When I say crap at streaming, what I mean is, like, how many streamers do you see sat there streaming Fortnite, right, and just silent for 4 hours, just not talking to anybody, just sat there? Like, if you could do that every day for a year, you won't see much success from it, right? And this is what I'm saying. You need to have that like level of skill, and that skill can't be taught by somebody else. That skill has to be taught by you. And I feel like most people that are successful on any platform, streaming, YouTube, any of it, are the people that are willing to put the time in by going, right, I did this, that didn't work. I did this, that did work. The stuff that does work, you do that more. And the stuff that doesn't work, you don't do that. It's a very big time investment to figure that stuff out, right? It's a very big time investment to go, okay, why are my sim streams working really well, but my Dead by Daylight ones aren't, right? And it requires a lot of self-reflection and a lot of like, it's hard. It's hard to sit back and watch a stream VOD and go, that was crap. You know what I mean? Like, some people don't want to do that, but you have to be, as a good friend of mine says, you have to be really hungry for it. And like, I feel like a lot of people are hungry for the rewards, but they're not willing to put the work in. So they see stream coaching as a quick cheat, almost like a shortcut to success. And here's the thing, like, if you're taking shortcuts, and this is why I think a lot of people are really angry about this whole situation, because if you're taking shortcuts, then it's not going to work for you. And I feel like this is such a cyclical argument. Like, it's just going to go round and round in circles. Like, if you need a stream coach, you're probably not good at streaming. And if you're probably not good at streaming, a stream coach isn't going to help you. And it's just like circular thing, you know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe stream coaches are going to make all of the successful streamers for the next 10 years. Like, I doubt it, but who knows? But, yeah.
I mean, it's a strange world we live in. And I think there's a lot because, like, how many years ago there was the kind of people that was just like, oh, you want to be an actor? I'll teach you the way to get into Hollywood. And
I'll make you famous, see?
So many of them. It's the only accent you can do it.
I know, right?
Hey, I heard you're into Twitch streaming. How
I'll
about
make you a star. All you gotta do is take your clothes off.
But like, and then years and years later, it's like, oh, it turns out they were like really scummy. And you're like, oh, shock.
It is. I mean, if you look at the streaming industry, it kind of is parroting Hollywood. You know, it's kind of like blown up out of nowhere. People that are successful, half of them don't know why. People really want to be those celebrities. They see the fame and fortune. They want that. Half the people with the fame and fortune are like, I don't want it no more. And it's like this whole, like, I don't know, it's this whole, like, bullshit industry now where it's like, as soon as the money got involved, it became very messy. And I almost wish I'd started years ago, like before it became so big, just purely because I feel like everybody, like, not everybody, but I feel like there's a lot of people that are just purely here because they just want the money. And they want to be massive and successful, and they want to have a massive house, and they think that streaming is an easy way to do it because you can start from your bedroom and start streaming with very little money, really. And I think a lot of these people then get frustrated because they realize that it actually takes like way more work to do this than it would do to just go and do a regular job and get paid your guaranteed wages every month and just save up, you know. And it's like, I don't begrudge anybody who wants to be a successful streamer or YouTuber. Again, we both do. It's like our dream career, right? But I feel like as well, it gets to a point of where when you spent 2 years growing a brand and that 2 years has seen like a small level of success, not a great level of success. We still, you know, I'm still a very small streamer and a very, very small YouTuber. But when you get to that stage of being like, well, I spent 2 years working on my content and you think you're going to do better after like a week of stream coaching, like, good luck. Do you know what I mean? And that's not me being nasty. That's not me being nasty. Some people blow up overnight. Some people start streaming and a week later a partner. It's not unheard of, you know? But I feel like most often, more often than not, those people had success somewhere else first. You know, people like Instagram stars or YouTube stars or whatever. Like, it's very rare that somebody just comes to Twitch and becomes successful. It's a long process for most people. A lot of people, I think, who are successful, it is mainly due to right place, right time, or just pure dedication and passion. And again, a stream coach can't teach that. A stream coach can't teach you to be passionate, can't teach you to be hardworking. Only you can do that. So, cyclical argument. It's going around again. We're just going back to the start.
Where it stops, nobody knows.
Nobody knows. But yeah. So again, no.
But yeah, I definitely agree. Like, it's one of those things of if you really, really put your head to it, like eventually you're gonna find some success. And it's one of those things where some people
Well,
on the
you say
internet,
eventually, like possibly,
okay,
not
if
guaranteed.
you were gonna be successful, eventually it's gonna
Yeah,
be there. And it's one of those things that, like, if you say it on Twitter at the moment, everyone gets like real mad.
yeah,
But there is an element of luck. Like, and the
yeah. Of course
element
there
of
is.
luck is also partially to with like time frame.
Sure.
You might start streaming, and say you start streaming, and 6 months later you end up stumbling into the right community of people where you get along with them really well. You work together like easily, and you just kind of fall into it easily. Like, that is still partially luck, because there is a billion people out there, and you managed to find the ones that you meant that
Yeah.
you fit with. Sorry, not that you meant to find. And you might do that after 3 weeks of streaming. You might do it after 3 years of streaming.
Yeah.
But there is an element of luck as to like when those things fall into place.
Yeah.
And it's all about being committed and enjoying the journey that you get to those potentially 3 years.
Yeah.
Because if you're not enjoying that time, you're gonna, by that 3 years comes along, you're gonna hate streaming.
Well, it like to kind of sort of lead on from that. Well, what about the other way? Like, let's just take this hypothetically, right? You've been streaming for a couple of months, right? You're very new and inexperienced, and then you get the stream coaching. Let's just say hypothetically it works, and then you all of a sudden have loads and loads of viewers. You're a brand new baby streamer, right? And everybody knows that when you first start, you're way less confident, you're way more susceptible to things. You know, you don't know what you're doing as well. So
Can't
now
keep
all of a
track
sudden,
of the chat.
exactly right. So you have all of these viewers now all of a sudden, and then it's like you haven't got the experience to back it up. You know what I mean? Like, you haven't, because you're not. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there been streaming for 2 years to nobody that go, do you know what? Maybe I need a bit of help. And I feel like those are the kind of people that probably actually do benefit from stream coaches. People that have been doing it for like 2 years to 0 viewers to be like, what am I doing wrong? You know? But like people that are new who like stumble across stream coaches and then pay for it, like what would you do with that success? What would you do if all of a sudden now you've got 100 people in your chat? Like, what are you going to do with that?
Well, the problem is as well, like, it's the people. So I'm really lucky. I very rarely get like trolls. I very rarely get like
Wow,
bot bombs.
you did it
anything
now.
like
It's going to happen now, isn't it?
Oh, whatever. But I mean, I'm now at the point where I can deal with it.
Yeah.
So like, anytime you get someone follow with a name that starts with the word knee or ice, and you're just like,
Yep.
oh, I know, because I've been got a couple of times.
I got in my like first month of streaming. I was like, I swallow, and I was like, thanks for the follow, and I was like, wait,
Wait a minute.
wait.
But yeah, like, say you get like someone gets you in your first month of streaming, it's like, okay, there was 3 people there. Like, I don't. But say you take
Exactly.
the stream coaching, and there's like, say it's super successful, and you have 200 plus people in your chat, and then you're just like, I hate knees. Oh no. And then it's just like,
Yeah.
and that's 200 people staring at you getting got with something that, like, sometimes those names are unacceptable. And with 200 people in there, odds are there's someone there being like, I wish I had this guy's success. I'm going to report him. And the
Yeah.
way Twitch is, they'll roll those dice, which is how
I mean, the way
that's how Twitch judge whether or not you get banned.
Twitch is like any other industry. There are people that are always going to be jealous of your success. So if you are successful, there are people that are going to come after you. They're going to make up stories about you. They're going to try and tear you down because they are jealous that you have what they don't, that what they want, and they couldn't get it due to whatever means, right? So exactly the same sort of thing. I don't know. I feel like if you get some success too early, that can be a killer for your channel. Let's just take again another random example. What are people when people switch games? What if you stream coach and you're playing this one game and then you get this big audience and then you switch and then you lose all those viewers? Because that happens to a lot of people. I mean, even Ninja, when he switched away from Fortnite, lost a ton of viewers, right? He's still doing all right, but he lost a ton of viewers when he switched from Fortnite. So like, how do you deal with these things when you're not experienced stuff? I don't know. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I just feel like this is one of those situations where if you need it, you don't need it. You know what I mean? It's like, if you need stream coaching, what you need to do is you need to go and step back and have an evaluation of your own content and what you want to get out of Twitch or YouTube or whatever, and like work on it, not going to get it from someone else. And again, we've said this before, like, if you're genuinely like after some information and you want to know more about streaming, there are so many YouTube channels out there. I mean, I could give you a ton of them. I could give you like literally, come and join my Discord or DM me. I will give you a list of YouTubers that literally only make content about how to grow your whatever social media platform. And a lot of that is very generic advice, like have a schedule or upload often or whatever. But again, your to be successful in this game, you need to be critically evaluative and go, like, you need to be learning all the time. You need to be evolving and getting better. And if you're not doing that, stream coaching isn't going to help you.
It's just, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
There's so much to it.
It is a lot.
It's just like,
I mean, well, like we said earlier, if they were like, you know, it was a couple of bucks here and there, like no one would have a problem with this, but it's not. It's hundreds of dollars we're talking about, like hundreds.
yeah. I mean, this is the fuss. I think there's so many people out there who are like, oh, well, what's the point in like getting a book about it because the book might not work? But then they go, oh, stream coaching, that's core work. And it's like, I mean, there's Twitch channels where literally what they do is you join like a queue effectively, and they will literally look at your channel and go like, okay, you're doing this well, but this could use some improvement. Your energy is low, or you need to like sort your panels out. Like
I've done it. I've done where we went and did it like not for a joke, where we did it as like a, you know, like just to show that can really help. Like when you go and look at someone's channel and go, this is how I feel as a viewer, because some people don't have that level of being able to self-reflect and watch their own VOD back and go, this is bad or this is good. And we did it on my channel where we went back and looked at people's stream titles. And I said, like, that stream title is garbage. When you're playing Fortnite and your stream title is Fortnite, no one's going to click on your stream. I mean, but that's like,
Fortnite, bro.
for like, here's the thing, for you and me, that's really obvious information, but some people might just not have thought about that. But
mate, my titles are still garbage.
yeah. But like we were doing that on stream for free. Nobody was being charged for that information. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like subs only. It was literally just, we were there and we were chatting about it. It was a discussion. So it was being given for free. And like I've said, just because something is for free doesn't mean you can't criticize it. But when something is for free, nobody's losing out. So it's like, this is what I'm saying.
I mean,
it's because of the money.
You might take like some free advice from someone like with that, or I've seen like 101 streamers where like they'll watch a recent VOD, and they'll like look at that.
Yeah, which is really enjoyable to do, by the way. I really enjoy doing that kind of thing.
I'd love to do it. But yeah, like the thing is with stuff like that, like if it's free, you haven't lost anything. Like say they look at your VOD and they go like, oh, I don't know, the game you're playing isn't going to be great for like numbers and stuff. You're probably not going to grow playing that game. And you sit there and go like, yeah, but I don't want to play the games. Then you haven't spent hundreds of dollars to be told that.
Exactly.
Like, it makes it nice and safe. Or say they give you some advice and it doesn't work for you.
Exactly.
You haven't lost anything. You've
you've lost your time. And at the end of the day, like, you know what I mean? Like you could spend 5 minutes on someone's stream, listen to that, go, I disagree, and leave. If you'd spent $200 for the privilege of that, then sucks to be you. But yeah, I 100% agree. It's purely because of the amount that people are being charged for this. And I feel like honestly, I feel like from what we're talking about, hundreds of dollars is too much anyway. I feel like that's grossly overpriced for something that isn't guaranteed. If they could say, I guarantee I will give you this X number of viewers or whatever, then maybe we talk. But we know they can't do that. And this is what we were saying. We were looking at one earlier that was very much this is in beta, so it can't be criticized because we're not guaranteeing anything. And I'm like, then why would you expect me to give you money? Like, I mean, here's the thing. If you're stupid enough to hand money over for something like that, then I feel like the onus is on you as a you know, it's the same when I say don't pre-order video games. This is why. If you pre-order a video game, go buy the video game and it's garbage, you can't really complain because you pre-ordered it. It's the same token. If you've gone and paid money for a service that isn't guaranteeing you anything, then it's basically gambling. Why not? Everything's gambling. Loot boxes is gambling. It is a gamble.
Twitch loot boxes.
Twitch loot boxes. Just stream coach. You heard it here first.
Stream coach. You might get 100 viewers. You might get no viewers.
You might do. God, could you imagine the YouTube video titled "Stream Coaching is Gambling"? God damn it. But no, I joke. But you see what I'm saying. There's an element of risk there, and I feel like the reward isn't good enough for the level of risk you're putting forward. Like, sure, again, if you can afford $100 here and there, no problem. I can't. It's a lot of money for me. You know what I mean? That's like a week's wages. Well, not week's wages, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, I went into streaming with, basically I had this thing of, I have a webcam and I have a headset mic, and I was like, I'm not going to spend any money on streaming that I haven't earned streaming. Because then basically I will never go below a zero sum. Yeah. So there's some people who are like, oh, I think I'm going to take up Twitch. I'm going to go and spend $800 on equipment.
I did that. I did that.
Risky game.
Yeah, and I said I think it was a mistake. As much as I turned out to love streaming and content creation, and it turns out that that's what I want to pursue as a career, and it's where my passion is. It could have easily not have been, and then I spent a bunch of money that I would have. Here's the thing: at least with equipment, you can go and sell it on and get some of your money back or whatever. And as you can see, I like buying audio equipment. It seems to be a problem for me, but that's kind of like my hobby now. Like my hobby is like twiddling with microphones all day long, and
My hobby is spending ridiculous amounts of money on it.
well, look, no, in 2 years I've bought 2 microphones in 2 years. All right, so that's not too bad. I bought one, my Rode mic.
2 years, I bought a microphone and a webcam, and I've spent less than £50.
I mean, that's great. Here's the thing: we've said this before when we used to talk about streaming a lot. Like, the equipment isn't going to make your content better. It's going to enhance your content, but it's not going to make your content. If you have bad content with great equipment, it's still bad content. If you have great content with bad equipment, it's still great content. Just doesn't sound great.
Yeah, I mean, bad audio is one of those things. Like, if you're watching this being like, oh, I was gonna get stream coaching, fix your audio, whatever you do.
100%.
And like, I know myself perfect. This is a £23 microphone off Amazon. But
Well,
like, for the price, it does a really good job, and you run it through some filters and stuff, and it sounds fine.
It sounds great. But we said this before, like, microphone is like 80% how you set them up anyway. And here's the thing: I've spent 2 years learning audio processing. I'm still not great at it, as you can tell, but I spent like 2 years like learning on compression and equalization and noise gating and all that kind of stuff. Now I know that. Should I charge you $200 to teach you that? No, I shouldn't. I shouldn't at all. You know what I mean? And that's something that I can guarantee I can teach you. I can teach you what I know. That's a guaranteed sale, but I'm not going to charge you $200 to teach you how to equalize and stuff. Like, especially again, when there's YouTube videos on YouTube that tell you exactly the same stuff for free. I would feel so bad charging for that. Like, I would feel so scummy charging for something that you can literally get for free. But like I say, just to even out the discussion a little bit, if there is anybody watching this video who is a stream coach, like, don't take this personally. This is just, I feel like there are potentially people out there that will benefit from some stream coaching, but I feel like there needs to be some more controls over stream coaching. I feel like there needs to be a little bit of, I don't know what. It needs people to just sit back and go, we need to regulate this a bit more. We need to go, this is okay or this isn't okay. Call copper or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, it needs to be, people need to be more careful.
Life coaching's been a thing since the 80s or something, and like, there's no proof that works. It just be like, oh, you'll be amazing at life if you come to my talks. It's a 4-talk series, and we'll teach you to stop slapping people in public, and then everyone will like you. And you're just like, wait,
how to gain friends and influence people. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's one of those things where I don't oppose the idea of stream coaching. I oppose how people are executing it. That's my issue. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like they're finding a spot in the market and they're exploiting it rather than making like a good business model that benefits everybody. They're sort of just benefiting themselves. And again, this is going to happen when there is a gap in any market. Somebody's going to jump on it, and you know, that's my gap. I'm charging you for that gap. Enjoy. But again, anybody who's considering paying for stream coaching, be very, very careful before you fork out any money. If you're not 100% convinced that it's going to be good for you, don't do it. And that's my opinion. I mean, that's the same for any transaction. If you don't think a game's going to be great, don't pay for it. Wait for a review. You can't really wait for reviews of stream coaching, though, so be extra careful.
I mean, you could let the first wave of people come out of it, see what happens to them.
But we said this before, though. There's a lot. I mean,
you'll be kicking yourself. Like, the first wave of people all go Twitch famous, end up starting their own company.
This is what I'm saying, though, where there needs to be a bit of skepticism, because, like, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that being like, I had the stream coaching and it was really, really great. Hashtag not sponsored. You know what I mean? Like, look at sponsorships at the moment. There are laws being added on because of like influencers, which I don't consider myself an influencer. I say this all the time. I'm a content creator. I think the term influencer is for douchebags. But all of these influencers on Instagram who are selling fucking vitamin D to people at like £200 a go, because it's like, I had these miracle gummies and they made my hair grow back. And then it's like everyone goes out and buys them. Like, there's a reason why there's laws are tightening around that kind of stuff. And there's a reason why now it's becoming like a legal requirement to disclose if you have have any affiliation with the company. What was the whole who was it with the whole Counter-Strike Go like betting site where those two YouTubers were like
Syndicate
yes.
and T Martin?
Yes, yeah. Where they were all like, "Oh my god, we just randomly found this website," and then it turns out it was their website. Like, there are people that are gonna do that shit with stream coaching. And I'm not accusing anybody, but I can see that shit happening right now. I can see people being like, "Yeah, I got stream coaching and I had success from it and it was great. You should definitely buy this random stream coach that I found out of nowhere." And they turn out to be married. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I mean. This is when I say there needs to be a little bit more skepticism. You should research the people that are doing it. Don't listen to people in their community that say it's great, because of course they're going to say it's great. Maybe go and like try and find your own people that have had the same sort of services and see if they give you an honest opinion. I would genuinely, oh my god, I've just come up with a YouTube idea. I can't say it though, because then it'll be like everyone will know I'm gonna do it. We should get like a stooge. We should pay somebody to go and get some stream coaching, and then they can like report back on how like good or bad it was.
How expensive it is? I'm not paying for that.
Yeah, I know, but like we'll get someone rich to do it. It'll be fine. But yeah, someone donate so we can.
You have to sign like an NDA or something.
Would not surprise
what's
me.
somebody taking the string coach and then just being like, "Hey guys, I'm a string coach charging half as much."
Well, this was another big, like, this is why a lot of people get really angry about it, because like anybody can just say they're a stream coach. Like, I could do it tomorrow and say I'm a stream coach now, and people are like, "Well, what's your qualification?" I'm like, "Well, I've got 2,000 followers on my Twitch channel. Do you have 2,000 followers on your Twitch channel?" Do you know what I mean? Like anyone can just start doing it. Like,
I was gonna say, because there's like a whole thing of like the difference between a dietitian and a nutritionist. So in the UK, like one of them is a protected term. You have to have certain qualifications to use it. And the other one, just anyone can be like, "Yeah, that's me. Hello." Like,
yeah. Well, that is a perfect comparison. Like, there are so many people on like Facebook, Instagram, all of this lot that are like, "Hey, I'm a nutritionist," or whatever. Which one's the bad one? Nutritionist, right?
I've differences between dietitian and nutritionist, and this is not telling me anything.
But like people that claim to be like experts in fields that they're not experts in, people that be like, "Hey, I told 100 people how to lose weight drinking this gone off yak's milk and it worked," and then it never works.
So a dietitian is someone that has a bachelor's degree with coursework approved by the Academy for Nutrition and Dietetics. A minimum of 1,200 hours of supervised experience and a national exam administered. And a nutritionist is a term that can be applied to anyone that offers general nutritional advice.
So, guys, you heard it here first on episode 27 of the Grumpy Gaming Weekend podcast. Chocolate makes you fat. I am now a nutritionist. You're welcome. I am a fully qualified nutritionist. Listen to my advice. Buy my ebook. The Way to Lose Weight by the Grumpy Brit. I mean, don't look at me because I'm a special case. I didn't follow my own advice, but definitely take my advice and buy my ebook.
I'm what they call a hypocrite.
Exactly. But so this is what I'm saying. This topic wasn't designed to be a personal attack at anybody, but at the same time, like, people need to just be careful. And I really genuinely believe that better than paying for stream coaching is spending more time evaluating your own content. And again, look at me. I'm not a massive successful YouTuber or streamer, so don't take my advice, right? Like, obviously, you know what I'm saying? But like, I really genuinely do think you can get better results without spending a penny by spending a little bit more time, not just sitting there streaming and playing a video game. But that's my opinion. This has been a grumpy opinion on the whole topic. I think that kind of nicely rounds us off for the episode. We've done all of the topics that we had, unless you got anything else you want to say before we force people to appease the YouTube algorithm by liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing this video with their auntie and uncles and stuff. What was that? There's nothing there, man. Is that comments?
That one?
Comments? Wait, there's like a giant GGWP logo there today.
Follow this brand.
That
everywhere.
side. It was that side. It was the second bit. But yeah, click the subscribe. And if people really enjoyed hearing your voice and seeing your face, where can they find more of those things?
Well, if you're very interested, I'm starting a stream coaching business for $1,100 a session. I will tell you to play different games and stream on a schedule. No, I am on twitch.tv/blindsideuk. I've recently changed my schedule because of a new job that I now don't need. So we now stream Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and also sporadically on Tuesday and Thursdays. I do a late night stream, Blindside After Dark, we call it, because I turn all the lights off.
Do you? I need to like join one of those streams. I've not been in one yet.
They're like, so the Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. Like at the moment, we're playing Fallen Order, and then I think I might play Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah.
Because it's on the Game Pass that I bought for Outwards. So I was like, whilst that's still going, I may as well like play some games from that. But the Tuesday and Thursday we play like Stardew, Graveyard Keeper, like cleaning simulator, like whatever. Just
they're really great
like,
games to stream though. Like those
it's
little
like
games.
So much fun.
Yeah.
And my community now are like getting to the size where like they'll just chat to each other and things like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the games like Fallen Order and stuff, I can't interact with that chat the way that I'd like to. So
yeah,
we do a lot more of that. I'm now on the chat currency, the 10,000 eggs, because our currency is eggs, due to Stardew. The 10,000 is I will let you pick a Wikipedia article and I'll ASMR voice the article.
Yeah, I saw that, and my immediate thought was there's gonna be that one guy who like finds the longest page ever and does it.
I've put in it that I'm like, if you pick like the longest together, I'm just gonna read like some of it.
Yeah.
I was like, you're better off finding something that's got lots of funny words in it than trying to make me read like the entire history of Venezuela.
Can we have a short example so that I can use the ASMR tag on this video and get loads more views, please?
My ASMR voice is still a work in progress, but this is roughly what you'd be getting as I would read a general article. So if I was to read my Walker's Sensations poppadoms in the lime and coriander chutney flavor.
So yeah,
they are a delicious flavor, by the way. Just gonna put that on there.
They're really good.
They are really, really good.
I put something down on top of them, and poppadoms are not robust.
No.
Yeah, so I'm there. I'm also at Twitter. If you search blindside_UK, I will pop up, and there I do all the updates for this. I get drunk and yell at strangers. I talk about stream coaching. I promote my new stream coach business. It's good content. It's good, great content.
Are you gonna call your stream coaching business Blind Advice? Advice for the blind.
Yeah, because everyone's like, "What is it, blind advice?" Because I have no idea what we're doing.
I went into this blind. I don't know what I'm doing. Like most stream coaches. But yeah, cool. If you have enjoyed Elliott's content, go give him a follow and stuff. If you have enjoyed this podcast, if this is the first time you've ever found the podcast, let me know in the comments down below, because we're always trying to like, you know, reach new audiences and meet new people and all that kind of stuff. But I do occasionally stream on Twitch. I will be going back to Twitch a lot more after Christmas. At the moment I'm struggling with work, YouTube and Twitch, so I'm just sort of focusing on YouTube, but I will be going back to Twitch. I'm thinking about bringing Sundays back on Twitch soon anyway, because I really miss streaming on Twitch. But my Twitch is twitch.tv/thegrumpybrit. I am obviously here on YouTube, The Grumpy Brit. I do other YouTube videos. I do the occasional Let's Plays, the occasional live streams. I do, I've just started a new series, which I've just renamed. I'm calling it, what am I calling it? God damn it.
Buy it or bin it.
That's it. Buy it or bin it, where we look at a video game and we decide whether it's worth buying or worth chucking in the bin. And
we look at a video game and we yeet it into the sun.
We do. We destroy it. So there's an episode of that coming up shortly with Black Future 88. Check that out. Twitter is The Grumpy Brit TV, I think, and Instagram is thegrumpybrit.tv, I think, and I'm The Grumpy Brit or The Grumpy Brit TV everywhere. Add me on everything.
I love how you like, maybe.
I get them mixed up. I'm pretty sure I'm TV on Twitter because somebody already had The Grumpy Brit. But yeah, go find all of my content. I'm a grumpy, cynical games kind of critic who enjoys video games when they're good and tells you about them when they're not, even when people ask me not to. But there we go. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, sacrifice a squirrel to the YouTube algorithm, and we will see you all.
Go to Freddy's and panic all the time to appease the YouTube god.
It might. And while you're on that YouTube video, ask those people to come. No, don't do that. Don't. But yeah, thank you very much for watching.
Well, that's a thumbnail.
Can you let me outro? God damn it, Elliott. God damn it.
Thanks
I got
for watching,
things
guys.
to do.
We love you all deeply. You're fantastic. And we'll see you again next time.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.